Good morning, everyone. Hello out there in the world. I'm Karuana Gatimu, and welcome to another episode of Mondays at Microsoft. We are going to break down everything that's going on in the Microsoft ecosystem for you with a special focus on modern work, AI, and Power Platform. I'm Karuana, you know that already. I'm with the Customer Advocacy Group in the Microsoft 365 space, and I'm here with my good friend.
Hello, I'm Heather Cook. Hi, everybody. I am also on the MCAG team, working on global community connections, engagement, and events. So, yay, happy to be here. Tax Day. It's the tax day.
We're just going to celebrate our way through tax day.
I
That's
guess.
the US where we have to write big checks, or sometimes we actually get them back. I have to say, occasionally you actually get that money back, which is awesome.
Yep.
If you're watching on LinkedIn, you're going to get your links as we discuss these topics. And if you're watching over on YouTube, we post all of the links we're referring to in the description of the video after we have closed the show. So make sure you copy and follow all of these links because we have lots of them. We have lots of them this week. Oh my goodness, so many things going on. So there was a tie again for the big rock. In the Microsoft land because there's just so much going on. But I really love this video. I want everybody to go and take a look at this. AI for good. Microsoft's vision for a brighter future with AI. It's not very long. It'll only take you a second. But I think it's really important that we all have a shared vision of some of the really big challenges in the world that AI is going to help us solve. And the positive impact it can have on people. I like that the video says that we're optimistic about AI because we are. There's a lot of people who aren't, but I really loved this video, Heather. I thought it was wonderful.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, it's nice to, same page, right? Working on ways to try and get on the same page with each other about all of these things. And it's hard because there's a lot of noise out in the ecosystem. And so this is a great video. I love it too. Yeah.
Absolutely. And it goes right along with the other announcement that we made over these last couple of weeks that we are going to establish an AI hub in London, led by Mustafa Sulaiman, who's our new CEO of Microsoft AI. That hub there represents a significant development and investment in that area and in AI. And so we're really excited to have a hub in London. Maybe we'll get to go visit it, Heather.
Okay, I'm down. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, I do too. The Paddington office is lovely, right on all those canals. So it's a great place to be.
Fantastic. It's fantastic. And the other thing too is that there's investment going on all over the world. We could have also talked about the huge investment that's going on in Japan in AI as well. That is a massive investment that we're making there. And so, the thing about these investments and the reason we talk about them is when we invest, we create jobs, and those jobs help lift everyone up. And this is part of democratizing access to AI and making sure that we are really having a positive impact with it. So
yes, and making sure we have global partners as usual, right? So in different places in the world. So yeah, no, it's super exciting. And, and we obviously have all of these wonderful, what we call flagship events, the Microsoft events that bring everybody together across the world, both, online and then in person. So we have Build coming up, which is our next big giant event. And, in the past, definitely, it's been developer heavy, Build is a developer conference. However, that word, has changed and morphed over time and sort of, I will say it's bloomed a bit, in that there's developers and there's citizen developers and there's, folk like we all have the power and capability with low code, especially with Power Platform, to get in there and do some development work, and with Copilot now, right? So Build is going to be a really exciting show for even an IT pro audience, for the developer audience, of course, right? But I think it's really exciting to see just that trajectory and how that's changed over time. You've got a pro dev for sure, but we've also got, developers in different spaces and ways that they're coming to the table, that you are coming to the table. So Build's going to be really exciting with a lot of new AI announcements. We do a lot of announcements at these big shows, right? So you'll have, we'll have Jeff Taper and, Charles Lamana, and you'll have Satya and lots of folks talking about all the cool things that are coming. You can attend two ways. You can attend online for free, and that'll have the keynotes live streamed, the breakout sessions live streamed. You'll get digital swag. There'll be a cloud skills challenge where you can go and pick up some cloud skills and then potentially go get yourself certified. And then there's also an in-person in Seattle. And so all the information on how to register for that, that is a paid experience, is online as well. So you can check it out. And I know Karuana always hosts. I host some, so we'll probably be doing some stuff there. So that'll be exciting. Yeah. And how many?
This year, I am not hosting. I'm always happy to share the limelight. Nope, I'm not hosting Build. Okay. I think I get to do Ignite. And so, but these things evolve over time. I'm actually glad because there's so much going on in the community space and we're going to be all over the place. I'm about to get out of it and not get off it for 3 weeks. So
yeah. I know. May's going to be a busy month for events, that's for sure. So yeah,
it really is. It really is. So speaking of events, I really wanted to call everyone's attention to an event that we didn't host. I really, really want everyone to go and take a look at the keynote from Nvidia CEO Jensen Huang. It is tremendously insightful to see all that they are doing with our AI and with other partners. But the reason I want us to take a look at it here is for you to, again, see the opportunities of the things that are happening right now today. There are some scenarios, and what he does is he talks about a technology, a scenario, what they're building inside their company, and then he shows an example. And so I love the way that he did that in his keynote, and the examples of the things that they are doing are fantastic fodder for our own imagination about how AI is going to impact our daily work. My big focus now is on workforce transformation. How are we going to transform the lives of the workers that we have so that they can become the workers that they need to be in this era of AI? And to do that, you have to understand what's actually happening. And I really feel like he did a fantastic job. It's not that long. You can scrub through some of it, but just make sure you go and check it out. Also, he's a great speaker. And so it's always interesting to listen to another organization. So AI is happening outside of the boundaries of the Microsoft ecosystem, and Nvidia is one of our major partners. And so I thought it was really useful to call that out.
Absolutely.
But closer to home, I would be remiss if I didn't remind everybody, we had a big planner event not that long ago. Ooh, the new planner. And there was a great comment in the video. So we had we launched our series called Meet the Makers with the folks who are building the new planner, which is basically they are bringing together project on the web, to do, and tasks in teams by planner into one user interface and one back-end data system. That's a really, really big deal. But one of the comments on the video that you can go and watch on Coffee in the Cloud, and you can check out the AMA that was after, where people got their questions answered, was, well, but you didn't tell us what it was going to be. That is what it is going to be. Just to be super clear, like, we've got videos in there of the new user interface. There are some changes on the left rail you're going to want to pay attention to. But right now, it's all about bringing those three together. And it is so much faster. I swear, especially I have like 1,000 plans literally, and I moved to the new experience, and it was like, it's so much faster. Oh my goodness. So
yeah,
gotta check that out and start to give us feedback. It is available, and you can go and use it today.
It's super cool. And a new icon. I mean,
Oh, yes, of course. Absolutely. The new icon was beautiful, and I did find to have a shirt of that color, those two colors.
Yeah, no, I was like, ooh, that's fun. So yeah, very cool. Yeah, I mean, I think people have been waiting for it for a long time. And so very exciting stuff. Definitely check out those. They're up there on the Microsoft Tech community, so you can check them out there, and the links are in the in our show notes for sure. Also, another big event that happened this past was the Business Applications Launch Event, which happens twice a year. BizApps, they put out release waves twice a year, April and October, and this launch event happens online during that time. You can still register for that to view the content on demand. So it was all the things going on in Microsoft Dynamics 365 and Power Platform. Lots of talk about AI and Copilot. Shocking, I know, but lots of great stuff in that, with Charles Lamana, Corporate Vice President of that division. So a lot about streamlining business processes. automating those repetitive tasks, and really, unlocking creativity within Power Apps. There's so much cool stuff happening in Power Apps with Copilot, super exciting stuff. And also really thinking about how we unify customer data across customer journeys using generative AI, and really getting more collaboration between those sales and marketing teams, really sharing that data to go after the customers, go after the revenue and all the good stuff there. And then tons of stuff around governance as well. Lots of governance, privacy, and then also all that goodness about low code acceleration of development. So definitely check that out. There's some great presentations there that should be pretty fun. So.
Absolutely. And the governance conversation is so important. We are coming closer together as an organization. So the way you think about governance in Microsoft 365 and the way you think about it in the Power Platform are coming closer and closer together. The themes are the same, the controls are different, but I'm a big fan of that. And you're going to need that in the era of AI, right?
Yeah,
for sure.
For sure.
So here I go on the Copilot tour de force. Are you all ready? Oh my goodness. I had to decode this whole blog post. So here's the thing. We had a bunch of announcements last week on new capabilities and features in Copilot. But let's talk about the core tech first, right? We announced 2 important updates for people who are users of Copilot and Microsoft 365. Remember, there's other versions, the consumer version, the free version, the pro consumer version, and then an M365. And we're bringing priority access to GPT-4 Turbo model to work and web data. Right. And so that's important. And we're going to remove the limits on the number and length of conversation while increasing how many files you can upload to use to ground the conversation that you're having with your Copilot. So that's really important. We're also going to bring expanded image generation capabilities in Microsoft Designer for those users of Copilot and Microsoft 365, including priority access during peak times. So that's important because that's the foundational capabilities that are underneath the hood. The rest of what we announced was really around our investment in Microsoft Viva as a Copilot enablement tool. Now, I want to give a shout out to the Viva Explorers out there, because the Viva Explorers have been doing this work for an incredibly long time without any built-in templates or built-in fancy tools like I'm about to talk about. And just their wherewithal and their intelligence. Those are MVPs and other champions of Microsoft Viva, and they're a fantastic organization. There are other people who do this work. But what we've done really is take a lot of their feedback and insights and build it directly into the product. And Jared Spatero outlined all of it on the 11th in his overall blog post. So I'm going to whip through these, but you can go and read about everything. Then probably one of the most exciting ones is that the Microsoft Copilot dashboard is not only generally available, but starting later in 2024, the dashboard will already be included with all Copilot for Microsoft 365 customers. So there isn't an additional license required, and there's none of this kind of premium and seated and all this stuff we had to talk about that's even still in the customer success kit. We're going to get rid of all that, and that's important. And so the other thing that's important about some of these changes that you're seeing, we're giving away these enablement tools as a part of the Copilot for M365 license, is also the Copilot Academy. How you skill your workers, preparing them not just to use AI, but to think about their next job, to make sure that you have a talent mobility and workforce transformation plan in place as you enable Copilot, is going to be essential to truly realize the value of this technology in a positive way. And so the Copilot Academy is a training experience that's built into Viva Viva Learning. And what I like about it is it is also customizable. You can build your own academies, and you should be thinking about that as you go, because you can track people's progress and what have you. But communications is so essential. Nobody's going to know about the Copilot Academy or all the cool things that you're doing, or the other communities of practice that you have, unless you use the campaign that's built into Amplify now. Right. So Amplify, if you haven't used it, it's fantastic. It solved the problems that Heather and I both had in terms of communicating in Teams and in Outlook and on a SharePoint site. It does all of that, and you can have campaigns. And this campaign is special. They took some of the content, not only from our customer success kit and our framework, but from actual comms that were done inside Microsoft as we rolled out Copilot. So it's very much customer zero content, which is spectacular. Then you can measure everything that you're doing with new surveys in Viva, Glit, and Pulse, and make sure that you are driving people to that community of practice. Go edit those Amplify default comms. You never want to send the default that Microsoft gives you. You always want to look at it. Just take my word for it. Yeah, zhuzh it up, as Heather would say, make it better, and point people to your community of practice, because we have a new template in Viva Engage and new ways of measuring the themes in your network. It's referred to in Viva Engage as a network. Those analytics are important. And so, oh my goodness, right? You can accelerate all of that with Microsoft Viva. And I'm so happy to see all of this kind of, if you will, human intelligence, human wisdom, and feedback built into the product now, which I think makes a huge difference. But we're also innovating in the safety area as well, right? You're going to want to finally check out this article where we shared 2 of our team's advances in making sure that the AI experiences that we use are safe, right? Neutralizing poison content. And we actually discovered a family of malicious prompts and how to stop them. And so the work that's being done, it's really a big deal, this last article as well. So, yes, think about how you want to use it. Get inspired by some of this content. Use Viva to drive a really healthy campaign. And if you have questions about that, bring them into our community. And then understand that we're continuing to do work behind the scenes on safety when it comes to this productivity AI experience.
Yeah,
and we did it. I made it through, Heather. I made it through all that.
I saw the script go bloop, and I was like, okay, here we go. Well, that was awesome. Yeah, and did you finish your security foundations training?
Yes, I did finish my security foundation. I'm so excited. They make us do this stuff, but they try to make it fun, and I really appreciate they've made it fun. But it's a great example of using Viva Learning to deliver this required training, because Viva Learning, you can actually know who's done it.
Yeah, it's good. And it's a good reminder too in your companies, like that's making sure people do that kind of training and renewing it, especially with all of these things that are going on that are so new. I mean, I see phishing attacks all the time, both at work and personally, and having a mitigation plan for those, and really, really pushing folks on the 2-factor authentication, and also looking at teams, like with teams, you have external people who can connect to you, right? You need to know who they are. You need to know if it's real or not. So there's some really simple things that are just, like, you're like, oh, trickery, and I have family members sometimes that are like, or even other people like, what is this? And so, like, these articles are great. And again, just really ensure you're having those conversations about the basics, with folks.
And that's so important. That's such an important point, because, again, I love all this stuff that we've done in Copilot that those folks like Viva Explorers has been doing for such a long time. And I love that we're bringing things into product, right? However, all of these best practices that are now in this, and the best practices that we're thinking more about for safety and security because of AI, are applicable to many other things. You can take this whole Copilot campaign and edit the headers and use it for rolling out Planner. You can use it for rolling out other changes, for rolling out your own version of security training. I love Amplify for this ability to really share information. We have to take ownership of our learning path, right? Especially at this time. So important. Oh my goodness.
Yep. So in the business applications side of the house, we had more than a few things going on as usual, but there's now a blog about ALM. And so that has been coming out. So looking at sort of the adoption, non-traditional, traditional developers who build, business critical solutions, looking at, application lifecycle management. That's what ALM stands for, because you can't say an acronym without telling everybody what it is. So that's a really cool blog, and it's really fun to check out the strategy and then looking at different portfolios. And they share a lot of use cases from customers in that one too. So that's definitely great to check out. With PowerFX, column names escaping the double quotes. You're like, what is that? But that is actually, it's a syntax change to how column names are specified in some of the function arguments. And so that's really important when you double wrap them in a text string now. And so that you won't have to do that anymore. So there's some new syntax items, which is really cool.
Because that's the thing you always forget. You forget one of those quotes, or you forget
you're in trouble.
it's just you hit the wrong key.
Yeah, for sure. So lots of cool other small items like that are working to make things easier, and also to make things easier to work with Copilot as well. And I think Power Automate Desktop and Cards have been running this new syntax change for close to a year. So this is sort of a let's get everybody on a page, kind of thing. So that's pretty awesome. My Fabric always got a million things going on their blog posts. There is not enough room or time to put all the blog posts that are up with Power BI and Fabric, but shortcuts to Google Cloud Storage are available in public preview. So that's a big deal. So OneLake shortcuts in your Google Cloud buckets if you choose to do that. So that just got announced. So opening a Lakehouse in Fabric, creating a shortcut to GCS, AWS, and all of that. So you can start pulling in your data through Spark or SQL and Power BI. That's pretty cool. So getting that data much more easily. Also, preview of OneLake shortcuts to S3 compatible data sources. So basically, it's just like more connections, more connectors of bringing data into the places where you want to use it using our Microsoft products, which is really great. And then the Power BI feature summary for this last month has a link to the FabCon keynote. So Fabric Conference, FabCon keynote from day one. They released the keynote there, so you can check out Arun Ulag up there and all the other folks talking about Fabric. And that's a great blog post that has all the features for the month as well. So lots of cool things there. And events, getting into events. We've got a lot going on. Yeah.
Well, I don't know about you. I'm just Heather and I are really heads down preparing for M365 conference. We hope to see many, many of you there.
Yep.
But even if you can't come to M365 conference, this is a good time to be on Twitter, because watch the feed, right? Follow the hashtag, see the pictures, see the insights that people give. I know a lot of people have left X, but something in the Microsoft community, especially when there are events, it's still a great place to be. Heather's going to go through all these huge list of events we have. And we have another important event coming up in June, the TechCon 365 event that's happening in Seattle, which I'm super excited about.
Yep.
And so, lots of things going on. But I just wanted to throw that out there to watch the X feed. LinkedIn too, to some extent, but I get the fun pictures from X.
Yeah, I think Twitter is like immediate, right? And LinkedIn is the more sort of as we go. So for sure, that'll be fun. And and you have a bit of a breakneck April, I think. Your Road Warrior backpack is back on with what you're doing, because you're going to CommsV next. You've got which is coming up in Denver, which is going to be a great event. You and Lori Potmeyer on our team are going to that, so that'll be cool. So.
Yes, and then I'm going to CMX Summit, which is a wonderful opportunity for us to build relationships with this great organization of community managers. Heather actually introduced me to these people. She's known them for a long time. And so I'm going there. And then I'm really excited this week. I'm going to the Imagination event on the MIT campus to talk about workforce transformation and moderate a few panels. And so I'm really excited about that. I get to go to MIT. And talk. So cool. Everybody else is going to be talking about LLMs and fancy technology. I'm going to talk about people. That's what I'm going to do.
That's going to be awesome. That's so great. Yeah, it's been a cool month for we're prepping for a lot of these things right now as a team. And then it's kind of event season is back, I think. We had a couple of things happening, and then now we're really fully into it. I've also been on 3 or 4, 5 maybe podcasts as a guest. So that's been really fun too. So thank you to those who've had me do that. That's been a lot of fun. And we're working really hard. Tiffany Lee on our team just has done such a great job with our general session for our Microsoft Global Community Initiative, MGCI. aka.mswac MGCI sign up if you want to come join us. Our general session is actually tomorrow. There's two, one at 8:10 and one at 5:10 Pacific time. And we talk about community. She always brings a guest speaker. It's a great session for us to all connect with each other. So if you haven't joined the MGCI, please come. The MGCI is, the larger scope of the project of our, where we talk to the community. It's a community-led initiative supported by us at Microsoft. And it also houses communitydays.org, which is our one-stop shop for all events in the Microsoft ecosystem that was built by Tom Daly, who's out of New Jersey, one of our MVPs, and a bunch of his folks there. He continues to administrate it. We continue to innovate there and bring new things. Super excited about all of I've been working super hard with Brian Hart on our team as well on all of that with Tom and folks. And so this last couple of weeks, we had AMS had events in Lausanne, France. We had a Community Days New Jersey, which Tom ran on top of doing all that other stuff. He just can't stop. Internets and AI. We had a beautiful Collab Days Poland, I think with their largest numbers ever. That was really exciting to see on Twitter this week. We have coming up Modern Endpoint Management Summit in EMEA in France, a D365 UG Severge in Sweden. Color Cloud is coming up in Hamburg, Germany. We've got the Minnesota M365 12th Biennial Spring Workshop Day in Minnesota. Collab Days Sandy, Utah. AMS Papit in Tahiti. I mean, there's just so much going on this month. BizApps Palooza in Toronto, Canada. Dynamics 365 Summit in Lisbon, Portugal. And then AMS Numia in New Caledonia. I mean, what? Wow. There's so much going on. So those events are all Community Days events. They're free, so you can check those out. Most of them have it in person. Usually it's all in person for these, and it's not a hybrid event. So if you're checking them out globally, they are local in most regions. We get into the paid events for the next month. What just happened, the Irvine, Texas show that Mark Rackley and the SharePoint Cowboy put on, North American Cloud and Collaboration Summit. We had a lot of folks there. As we've been talking about, we have the Microsoft Community Conference coming up in 2 weeks in Orlando, Florida, where a lot of us are going to be working hard on that. CommsV Next is coming up in Denver. We've got Dynaway Connect in Greenville. Lots going on. And then we're also in Europe, we're working on the European Collaboration Summit that's coming up in Wiesbaden in Germany. Myself and Mark Cashman and Laurie are going to that. DynamicsCon Live is coming up in Denver, Colorado in May. It's the same week. Dynamic Minds in Portoroz, Slovenia. I mean, there's just a lot going on with all of these events. So yeah.
It's
cool.
huge. But here's the thing that is the takeaway. Wherever you are in the world,
yeah.
And if you can't get to one of these events, you can get to learn.microsoft.com. We are giving away your next job. We are giving away free training to help you improve your career. Take that bull by the horns, right? Yeah. Let's go for that, right? It's really important because I look around at other AI providers and, I appreciate them. And I think that everybody does great work. But I do think there's something special about the way Microsoft invests in this sort of training and the way the Microsoft community comes together to really spread and share knowledge in such an open and fun way, right? Yeah. And so, and you'll hear me talking about this for the next couple of years, probably, having a workforce transformation plan, being able to plan your own mobility as a worker, being a little bit dispassionate and looking at your job and thinking about how is it going to change over the next 2 years. This is really important time for you to own your career and use all these free resources to do just that. Heather and I are poster children for being able to use, the wonderful environment of the Microsoft community to, better the lives of our families. And so you can too, right? That's what it's all about, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And, we're talking about, I don't know, I was talking with some friends over the weekend about, because, they're like, what's this Copilot? What's this AI? I was at a wedding over the weekend and, and I get handed phones and like, can you fix this first of all? Because you become the IT department for like all of your friends and family all the time if you work at Microsoft or they find out, right? So yeah, it was interesting. I met a fella who is like looking at cybersecurity, and we're down like a lot of people in that arena for sure. So there's tons and tons of jobs clamoring in the cybersecurity space. And so there's a lot of, I think, a lot of energy around that as well to keep all of us safe and all of our data safe. And just really talking about learning that next step, I don't like to say people get left behind, but at the same time, there is something about really like what you were saying, Karuana, looking at your job, looking at what you're doing and seeing what's out there and seeing how you can figure out how to get to that sort of next place. There's so much great information on Microsoft Learn. And also, if you haven't gone to adoption.microsoft.com, that's not just for businesses. It's really important to look at that. Like I use that content as a consultant over and over again with my clients. And I used it to figure out like what is it that I personally also need to adopt to take my career forward, right? What can I use? What templates can I save and zhuzh and make my own, and that's so important.
That is the idea. That is the idea 100%. So there's a lot to do, and organizations have an accountability there. I'm really proud of the work Microsoft and our community does in this space, but it's up to you. Take the time. Plus, we want to see you at a local event. We want to see your pictures on X and Twitter. We want to see them in the feed here on LinkedIn. Post them here in the community. Share your experience about learning. That's what this community page is for. We'd love to have more of you post. So we're going to be back. We'll be back again in 2 weeks.
Join Orlando.
I know we're actually going to be broadcasting from Orlando on April 29th. So you have to come and join that show. It's going to be a ton of fun. And we'll tell you everything that's going on in the Microsoft ecosystem. Thank you, Heather.
Thank you, Karuana. Good morning. Here's to a great week. Here's to a great week, everybody. Taxes are over, whatever. Good, we can just relax and just do our things, right?
Exactly. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody. Have a great week.
Take care.